Hello, welcome back. If you're brand new, I would love for you to introduce yourself in the comments. If you are unfamiliar with my work, what a great opportunity to discover who I am, what I'm about, and basically tap into the vault of knowledge that I have to share with you. So, if we never met before, hi, I'm Stefania Maria. And for over a decade, I have been in finance and accounting, even though I have created a six-figure brand around coaching money over the last 8 months or so. I have decided to pivot my business away from it, not without running my cornerstone program, the money laundry, at least one more time. And so today I want to talk about this one particular prevalent thought that is dirty and hindering your access to wealth. If you have ever said this statement, I don't know if this is enough. I don't know if I've ever saved enough. I don't know if I've ever made enough. I just don't know if this is enough money. If you have ever thought that, if you've ever felt that, if you've ever experienced that, I want you to tell me in the comments. It doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean anything about your reality, but you have definitely had the thought, I just don't think this is enough. And if you've had that thought, I want you to consider that the thought itself is telling you what is in the way. Let me take you back to when I was a kid. Now, I did not have an allowance, although every Friday, if I could catch my father at the general store, sitting with the owner of it, having coffee, and I went up to him and said, Dad, can I have a loonie? Now, for those of you who are from the US, a loonie is a $1 coin. And my dad would open up his wallet and he goes, here you go. Now, I'm going to age myself, but at the time, a chocolate bar was $1. So I knew in receiving that dollar that I had enough for the chocolate bar. But every so often, the seasons would change, it would get hot out, and I wouldn't want the chocolate bar because the chocolate bar would melt in my hands. And I wanted an ice cream. And so I'd go up to my dad on a Friday afternoon after school, Dad, can I have $1? He goes, what are you getting? And I said, I'm going to get an ice cream. So he hands me $1 and I go up to the ice cream bin and I see all of the different array of flavors, from the Mr. Freeze tubes of frozen icicles to the fudgicles to the ice cream sandwiches to the magnums and the Haagen-Dazs. Now I looked at my dollar and look inside the freezer, look at my dollar and look inside the freezer. The thing is, never once could I say, I don't know if I have enough. I knew I had $1. I knew that the ice cream sandwiches were $1. I knew that the fudgicles were $1. The Mr. Freeze were 50 cents each. See, I knew that I had enough money for what I wanted. But what about the case of the Haagen-Dazs? What if I wanted the Magnum? What then? Well, I would look at the dollar and then I'd look at the price and I'd look at the dollar and then I'd look at the price and realize I don't have $3. I only have $1. I don't have enough. I want you to consider for just a brief moment that the reason why you say to yourself, I don't know if I have enough, is twofold. And both of the reasons why you do it are to keep you separate from your money. Reason number one is very simplistic. But every time you say you don't know, you don't know. And you certainly won't go find out. You can't find out. Because by saying, I don't know if I have enough, it has you sit in this abstract and intangible mental state. So when I ask you the question, well, what do you need enough for? You're likely to respond, well, I need enough to live. I need enough to relieve the pressure. I need enough to get rid of the headache. I need enough to X, Y, Z. But when I ask you, what do you need enough for? It'll sit in the abstract. And it helps you avoid the reality of how much you actually need in comparison to what you actually have. This is a loop that so many spiritual people get stuck in. I don't have enough money. Money for what? If you allowed yourself to find out, you would not have the energy of I don't know. The I don't know keeps you separate. It keeps you in this inability to translate your life, your experiences into 3D action that transforms it. As long as you sit in the belief and the way of thinking that I don't know if I have enough, there will be no part of you that will find out if and when you do. Because the second part of the I don't know that keeps you separate from your money is the fact that it forces you to relinquish responsibility. Now, I want you to take a big deep breath here. And I want you to really own in the comments if you have ever been in a position where responsibility felt heavy, where responsibility meant consequence. Well, I want to offer you a very different perspective. Responsibility is your ability to respond. That's it. No more, no less. That is all it is your ability to respond given the capacity you have. So let's go back to that little kid who's buying ice cream at the general store with the dollar in hand and say, I don't know how much money I have. All I know is I want this ice cream. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I have enough to get the things that I need. Well, layer one, you never have to know. You never have to go find out how much that's worth. Layer two, you don't have to be responsible for the reality thereafter. See, if you never find out, if you never go discover, if you never really look at objective fact and you sit in that abstract and intangible world where everything feels ungrounded and unsecure, of course, you're going to require your spiritual practices to keep you somewhat stable. But I have to remind you that spirituality happens out there. The 3D is where money exists. And even though people will tell you, oh, that money is just energetic, I'm going to tell you that those people are doing 3D shit with their money. They find out how much that ice cream is, and they find out how much allowance daddy gave them. Because those are tangible, those are specific, and they're objectively measurable. And because they're objectively measurable, we have the ability to respond to the I don't know and find the fuck out. But here's the thing. When I tell you that you are capable, you are competent, and you have the ability to respond to your reality, you still don't want to go find out. And the reason why you don't is because what if you have more than enough? What if you ended up realizing that dad gave you a toonie and all you wanted was a Mr. Freeze for 50 cents. And all of a sudden you go, but I don't trust myself with more. I'm not going to save that for a rainy day. No, not when candy in the 1990s is still 5 cents. So you're scared to find out you have more than you think because the way that you think keeps you safe. It keeps you from making irresponsible decisions. But it also keeps you from feeling the joy that you get to have exactly what you want. Because you do have enough, because you do have more than plenty. But on the flip side, the way that you relinquish your power to abstraction, and you relinquish your power because you don't want to be responsible because it feels scary, it also means that you will avoid the reality you get to respond to if you don't have enough. Steph, I don't want to go check my bank accounts because if I check my bank accounts, I'm going to realize the extent of which I cannot afford my life. But if you don't find out that you can't afford your life, you won't respond to it. You won't adjust your life so that you make enough to afford your life. Do you see what I'm saying? If this is making sense, let me know in the comments. The I don't think I have enough keeps you from finding out how fucking much you do. And the fear of finding out the outcome keeps you from responding well enough to change it. This is the perpetual cycle of lack, fear, compression that has you disconnect from your money. And I want you to consider that all of that intensity that you've applied to your money is so unnecessary. That all of that anxiety that you feel when your bank emails you saying that your credit card statements are ready for your review, all of that stress that's in your body in those moments is synapses firing in your body so that you have the power to respond to whatever reality you see. I'm going to repeat that. All of that anxiety that you feel in your body around anything that involves your money is simply synapses firing so that you have the energy to respond to whatever it is that you see. Inside the money laundry I am going to show you how to cut all of the extra energy that is so not needed, because it is a waste of your power. I want you to think of all the times when you thought your money and was worried and consumed with stress. When you are consumed with stress, you were put into a fear-based state. Fear-based states do not allow you to make concrete, sound financial decisions. So instead, we need to ensure that you are not utilizing your energy incorrectly, but rather having it be precise, direct, so that you can get clear with reality and respond accordingly. There is no, I don't know if I have enough. You will simply know I have enough or I don't. If you have enough, you will receive exactly what you want because you trust yourself to have more than plenty without blowing your financial load. In fact, even in the situations where you have a desire greater than your bank account balance, that in those moments, you don't panic, you don't freak out, you don't get scared. You adjust your reality. You go and you find a better paying job. You create a new offer. You stay in service. You do whatever it is you need to do that feels in alignment with who the fuck you are to see it through. Inside the money laundry, I am giving you weekly 15-minute practices so that you don't misallocate your energy in some distorted, stressed out way, but just show up 15 minutes every week. Every single month, we'll transfer from one area of our finances to another, starting with expenses. You will get 4 financial hygiene practices that take 15 minutes or less to do so that your expenses feel solid. You will audit your income. Because if your income feels just as taxing to your body, then it's going to be just as stressful to go make it. I want to make sure that you are showing up every single week so that your money feels clean for you based on who you are, not my expectations, not Dave Ramsey's expectations, not Tori Dunlop or Vivian, nobody, but that your money is yours, that you feel in alignment, in integrity, and in honest reflection of who you are. Every single month will flow from expenses. Month 2, income. Month 3, savings. Month 4, debt. Month 5, investment. And month 6, taxes. Month 6 might vary. But my point is what if the way that you thought and the way that you behaved in accordance with your money didn't have you lose power, didn't have you more stressed out, but had you feel like I know what to do and how to do it moment to moment? That the next time you get a bill, there isn't a sense of panic in your chest about how much that bill is because you are well resourced to respond to it. That even when you get a bill that's unexpected, you look at the due date and, oh my God, the due date's tomorrow, that you don't go risking your child's breakfast tomorrow morning just to pay that bill, but you learn a different way of responding to financial emergencies. And that it's not just knowledge up here, but that it becomes embodied. Because as the money laundry continues, for the next 6 months, it is a private podcast. So it doesn't matter if in December you're like, oh shit, we're about to dive in to the month of savings, but now I'm really panicked about my debt. It's not a big deal. You're going to have the skills to be able to navigate it. What do I fucking do? It won't matter because you will have the foundational financial hygiene practices so that your entire financial reality feels clean to you. Because when we have a clean relationship to money, we get to live filthy rich, however the fuck you want to define that. When you sign up to the money laundry by October 2nd, every single month you will have one group call with me where I get to work with you specifically on whatever it is that you're up against in your financial world. And I promise you, there is very little that you could bring me that I wouldn't know how to address. Particularly after you're implementing these financial practices that only take 15 minutes. If you sign up after October 2nd, you'll still have the private podcast with the weekly teachings and the practically applied philosophies. And this is the thing that I really want to emphasize here. A lot of spiritual teachings when it comes to money are practically stupid. Like they don't work. And I'm going to be really honest. And I know this sounds like really taboo, but there is a reason why people come work with me because my work fucking works. I translate all of this spiritual shit into 3D reality. If you have been in every manifestation program, if you have been in money mindset work, and you have not been able to translate any of that into 3D tangible results, that's why you come work with me. This will not be a live program forever. Given the fact that I'm translating my work and deepening into my particular medicine, there are some things that are getting reassessed, but I want you to have these tools. It is unfair for all of this knowledge to sit in my brain and not be given to you. So if you want to come in, do it now. Drop a comment, send me a DM, whatever it is, let's get in contact. You're going to have the weekly practical lessons. You're going to have the 6 calls across 6 months, plus the digital community where you get my direct feedback with whatever you're facing in life. That includes things like, oh my God, I just upped my rates and I'm having a fucking panic attack. Or, oh my God, I'm sick and I don't have my savings and I need to use my credit card. Or maybe, oh shit, you know what? My car just blew a flat tire. Now I have to use my savings and I feel a lot of guilt. It doesn't matter what it is you're going through in life. You're going to have my direct feedback to ensure that at the end of this 6 months, you feel confident, capable, and competent with your money in all facets: expenses, income, savings, debt, investing. Okay? If this is something that speaks to you, I want to see you in this program. I'm telling you, this is the most affordable way to work with me live, to have me in your fucking corner. Because one of the biggest infuriations for me is seeing highly spiritual people, highly gifted people stay in this world of abstraction and never learn how to translate it. You get to have money to pay your rent, buy your boat, pay your babysitter. You get to have money for very real, expansive things in your everyday life. Because the other thing that I will say is this constant separation from your money, this feeling of, I don't know if I have enough, it's going to continue to keep you from finding out. And if you never find out, you'll never be responding to reality so that you can have those needs met. They will simply go unmet in perpetuity. And I'd rather you have your needs met and work through the discomfort of the moments where you may not have the resources for it so that you can go get the resources for it. Okay? So I look forward to seeing you inside of it. If you have not joined the Money Laundry yet, I suggest you do. I'm also including the Piggy Bank in your participation in the Money Laundry. So that is one of my cornerstone programs to work with inner teen wounding that might be existing for you around money. This is particularly special for those of you who were parentified as teenagers and had to be financially responsible, as well as those of you who have been financially rebellious because of your upbringing as well. So the Piggy Bank is an amazing program. It is something I highly recommend people do every single quarter because you're constantly evolving in your embodiment, but I'm including that in your enrollment into the Money Laundry. So not only are you getting the weekly practical lessons that you can apply immediately, you're also going to get the private community, the private podcast, and the Piggy Bank. Awesome. I look forward to seeing you inside. Enrollment closes for the 6 group coaching calls on October 2nd. You're going to want to get in here. I'm not fucking joking around. Okay. Given the fact that all of my courses are being archived, I'm starting over, I'm reassessing shit. This is your last chance to come work with me on your money shit. Your last chance. Come do it. Okay. Mwah. I'll talk to you later. Bye.